Welcome to the next lesson, designing your product packaging. So in this lesson, we're going to cover the different types of product packaging, what you should have received from your supplier, what to include on your product packaging, how to put together your product instructions, specific Amazon category and marketplace requirements, and how to get your product packaging designed. So let's start with the different types of product packaging. The first are cardboard product boxes, a popular choice for many products on Amazon. They can be completely branded and designed to bespokely for your brand and provide a great customer experience when your customer receives the product. They also do a great job of protecting your product to ensure that it doesn't get damaged during transit. The second, bottles with labels. These are great for supplements or beauty products such as serums and can be branded with a label and different types of shapes and lids. The third are polybags. A popular choice when starting out because they're a lot more affordable and cheaper than other product packaging options. They allow the customer to see your product within the bag, and you have the option often to add a card to the top and include your product insert inside of the polybag. Now, it doesn't maybe give the perceived value that a bespokely designed printed box would, but it's a good solution, especially for liquids, as it can stop the product leaking and causing negative or critical reviews on your product. The third one would be a blister and clamshell. Often you will see these in the shops. They hold headphones, screwdrivers. You have your own design card inside of it. A very simple solution, and again, the customer can see the product through the packaging. And then finally, a more popular choice of late, it's a trending choice, eco-friendly and recycled packaging. Now, this often can be a little bit more expensive. However, if this is the communication and the strategy for your brand is about organic and being eco-friendly, then you may consider investing in eco-friendly and recycled packaging to align with your customer and align with your brand's values. Again, think of the experience that customer's having when receiving your product and opening the box for the first time. So how detailed you get with your product packaging really depends upon you and the brand you want to create. Usually, the nicer the packaging, the higher perceived value when the customer receives the product. For example, a 50 cents increase in packaging cost could create a higher perception of your brand and show up in your reviews, which will be well worth the investment. However, simple packaging still works, and you have to ensure that you are still focused on making the product financially viable. So when considering the true cost of your product, ensure that you have accurate packaging quotations and costs inside of that analysis to understand your profit margins in the product, your return on investment, and ensure that the product is still viable. Consider ordering your direct competitor's product to understand what you're competing with, which will give you an idea of where you need to go. So what should you include in your packaging? Well, first off, go to Amazon and look at competitors' packaging. Consider ordering their products and then go to the store. Go to Walmart, go to Target, go to a large store and just walk through the aisles and pick products up off the shelf. Find the intended product you're looking to sell and look at what some of the big retailers are doing that are selling your product on the shelves in these big stores. Understand how they're packaging the product, what they've included. Take time to read the details on the boxes and understand what information they're communicating and including on that product packaging. Look at as many similar products as possible and take photos. Start creating a bit of a log of the different ideas that you come up with. Your safest option is to do something similar to your competition. Don't copy them exactly, but use it as a point of inspiration and look at how you can improve upon your competition's packaging while including everything they've included. Read your competitors' reviews to understand if there's anything you can include on your packaging to improve the customer's experience. You will see trends if you take enough time and read enough reviews across enough competitors. You will see trends in customer feedback that will give you ideas on things you can do with your product packaging, information that you can include, certain instructions you can include that may even mitigate critical reviews down the line. Take the time to do this and it will show up in your reviews and ultimately show up in the conversion rates of your product on Amazon, which leads to more sales. So what should we include? The basics of what to include. Well, first off, we need to start with a logo. Then our barcode, and as we covered in an earlier lesson, the FNSKU code. Ingredients, specifically if it's a consumable, you must include the ingredients. Instructions and directions for use. If it's a more complicated product, you want to put the effort into providing very clear product instructions, as again, if you don't, it could show up in the form of critical reviews later down the line, which is going to hurt the performance of your product on Amazon. Made in China, or if it's not made in China, the country that you had your products manufactured. This is actually a requirement for products sold on Amazon and something you do not want to miss. Brand website and address. It is normal to include your brand's website URL and manufacturing address on the product packaging, and often is a point of credibility when customers are reading the box. And the tip from me, there is a big customer list building opportunity by including your brand website and maybe even your social media profiles on your packaging. So I previously mentioned that you must include a barcode on your packaging. You have two options when including a barcode on your product. Option one is your UPC barcode. If you print your UPC barcode on your product, you will need to apply an FNSKU, which is a Fulfillment Network Stock Keeping Unit, which is Amazon's version of a UPC barcode. So you will need to apply an FNSKU label over it before you can start selling. You can either do this before you send it to Amazon, or you can pay Amazon to do this for an additional 20 cents per unit. Option 2, which is actually our recommended method, is to print the FNSKU barcode directly onto your product packaging. So our recommended and preferred option is to remove the extra layer of complexity and print your FNSKU barcode directly onto the product packaging. Simply generate and download this from Amazon Seller Central and give the image file to your designer to include in your packaging. Ensure that the FNSKU is on a white background on your packaging so it can be scanned. When it comes to the barcode, there's a common question that always comes up, and that is, can I just use the UPC and not worry about the FNSKU at all? Well, technically yes, but we do not recommend this. Selecting manufacturer barcode instead of Amazon barcode when converting your product to FBA will make this happen, but it can cause problems down the road, and we don't recommend doing this. So when it comes to product instructions, if your product requires instructions, you have a few options. You can print them on the packaging, so simple instructions can be included on the packaging, and if your competitors are doing it, you can do it too. An instruction manual. For products that require more guidance, an instruction manual can be included inside the product packaging and is a great place to combine with automatic list building, which we're going to cover in the next lesson. A good indicator for this is when looking at your competitors' reviews. If you're seeing a lot of customer feedback that they're unsure how to use the product, or maybe it took a long time to figure it out, this is a great opportunity to beat your competition by including really clear product instructions in the form of an instruction manual to give that really good customer experience when they first open and use your product for the first time. And as I said, a tip from me, instructions are a great way to proactively mitigate critical product reviews by looking at your competition's reviews and then using your product instructions to give a better customer experience. So when it comes to Amazon, each product category and each Amazon marketplace, say Germany or France, in comparison to the US, have different requirements. And it's really important that you understand what those requirements are. Otherwise, you could go through all of the work of producing your product, having the product packaging designed and printed, shipping it to Amazon, and it could be rejected for one of these reasons. So depending on the marketplace you intend to start selling in, there are different requirements for your packaging. Each product category is different, and it's really important you understand what those requirements are for each product type. For example, for any product that is ingested or applied to the skin, instructions and ingredients must be included in the local language on the product. So if you intend in starting, say, in Germany, then you would need to include instructions and ingredients in German, in the German language, if your product can be ingested or it's applied to the skin. But it's recommended to ensure that customers have the best experience with your product. Across the EU marketplaces, so UK, Spain, Italy, Germany, France, an EU physical address must also be included on the packaging. Now, this is not the complete list of requirements, and I must stress this is not the complete list of requirements. You need to do your research based on the product category you intend to start selling in and the marketplace you intend to start selling on. For Europe, you can search Google for Expand to Europe Amazon, and Amazon has a great FAQ on all of the different requirements for selling a product in European marketplaces. If you use Google to search, if you're looking to start selling in the USA, just do a quick Google search and look for the official Amazon help documents on the product requirements for the category that you're looking to sell in. So if you're looking to start selling in baby, for instance, then you search Google and find the packaging requirements help document on the official Amazon website that will detail exactly what that packaging should entail to sell the product you're looking to sell. Now, these pages move all the time. Amazon are constantly changing their website, and they're always updating the requirements and the terms of service for selling on Amazon. So we're not able to include those here. Use Google and go and find the most up-to-date official Amazon help document and ensure that you're educated on exactly what you need to include on your packaging before moving to designing the packaging and getting it printed. So once you're aware of that and you understand what you need to do, the next step is to get your packaging design created. So step one, make sure you have everything you need. In the previous lesson, we asked our supplier to send you your packaging options and a template if applicable. And that template will be what your designer uses to design and create your product packaging. So to give you an example of what templates look like, here's a box template, and you can see various different lines on there that your designer will understand. They're called bleed lines. And this is what your designer will use to design your bespoke product packaging if you were going to go and use a cardboard product box. On the right is an example of a template for a label that would go on a bottle, so maybe a supplement like a tablet bottle. And again, you'll see different lines here, from the bleed lines, the cut lines, the print lines. You don't need to worry too much about these lines. Again, your designer will understand what these mean, and you need to provide the designer that you work with this template to produce your packaging. Again, to get this template, if your supplier is going to handle your packaging for you, is going to handle printing and producing that packaging, ensure that they send you the correct template for the packaging that your product requires. So when it comes to getting your packaging design created, you have a few different options. So step two is to find a designer. The professional option, which we recommend, is 99 Designs. And if you go to amazingsellingmachine.com/99, that will take you straight over to 99 Designs. 99 Designs is a contest platform. It will cost around $450, but you will receive up to hundreds of designs back in a very short amount of time. And what this does is give you variety in design options compared to working with a single designer that's maybe only going to produce one or two different designs. So you would submit your brief through to 99 Designs, wait a couple of days, and hundreds potentially of designers will submit design options back in the form of a contest. You choose the ones you like and then work with the designer to finalize and announce them as the winner of that contest. 99 Designs is a great platform and always produces professional design options. There are cheaper options available though if you're working on a budget. You can ask your supplier to do it. Now often the quality of the design will be lower, so this might be an option that you choose if you have a simpler packaging design. Maybe you went with the polybags and you're just looking to get a simple card printed at the top to be stapled onto those polybags. Your designer might, your factory, your supplier might be a good option. Alternatively, do you have a friend that is a designer? A simple Facebook post, any designers in my friendship network would unearth potential graphic designers locally. A really good option for sitting down person to person, in person, to work through your brand options and your design. You can physically sit with that person and tweak the design in real time. Alternatively, there are other marketplaces available. Fiverr.com is a great option. Very affordable design options, often come out at a very professional level. And for as low as sort of $5, $10, $15, you can have a logo designed for your brand and you can have packaging designed for your product. Other than that, there's Upwork.com. So Upwork is a freelancer marketplace. What that means is there are thousands of designers on Upwork who will quote your project. So you post your project as a job, and then you will get a number of designers quoting to complete that work. You'll be able to look through those designers' portfolios and then pick who you would like to work with. My tip for you here is agree a price up front for the total cost of the project. Don't enter into an engagement that is hourly because that's an unpredictable budget and often those hours can run longer than you expected. So agree a price up front. But the downside of working with a designer on a platform like this is you're working with one designer, it's virtual, so you're not going to have that in-person relationship or that in-person ability, and you're only going to get a couple of designs versus 99 Designs where you potentially could receive hundreds of designs back in the form of a contest. So understand where you're at with your budget, Make a decision on which platform you're going to go and use to get your packaging designed, and go and get that packaging designed. So what we covered in this lesson was the different types of product packaging, from the cardboard box through to the poly bag and even eco-friendly packaging. What you should have received from your supplier, so the design templates before you can move on to designing your product packaging. What to include in your product packaging, including those critical elements such as the barcode, your logo, and more importantly, the requirements for different Amazon categories and marketplaces. You need to go and do your research and understand what marketplace and what category you're selling in, and find the official Amazon help document on what is required on your product packaging. What to include in product instructions and how to include them. So whether you do that on the box or in the form of a product instructions manual. Again, the Amazon category and marketplace requirements. And finally, how to get your product designed. In the next lesson, we're going to talk about using product inserts to build a customer list and get product reviews. But before we do that, an action step for you right now is to go and get your product packaging designed. I'll see you in the next lesson.